On today's episode of Setting the Pace, Facci and I are going to be talking about Ben Sheppard returning to action, and then we're going to be joined by Eddie Gill to talk about all things Pacers point guard situation. Eddie has been a point guard before in the NBA, so what is it like to go through everything Cameron Payne's going through right now? What is it like to be on a team that doesn't really have your point guard depth as strong as you like? Eddie's going to talk to us about all of that and some other players on the team, Pascal Siakam, Ben Mathurin. You're going to enjoy today's episode. Let's get to it.
This is Tyrese Halliburton, and you're listening to Setting the Pace.
What is up, Pacer Nation? Welcome back to another episode here of your go-to Pacers podcast, Setting the Pace. I'm your host, Alex Golden, and joining me is Michael J. Facci. Facci, how's it going, buddy?
Life's good. No complaints over here. The squad is getting healthy-ish. Didn't get injured, I would say, since we've last spoken. So that's always good. Itching for regular season basketball, but don't want to wish away the time because we still got one preseason game to go and a few more questions to be answered.
Yeah, and we're going to have Eddie Gill joining us, former Pacers point guard and obviously radio broadcast, color commentator with Mark Boyle, does pregame, postgame with Jeremiah Johnson. Going to have him on to talk about the point guard spot because I think it's just nice to have somebody that's been in that spot before to kind of give us like, hey, what it's actually like to be called upon to go play in an NBA game and be asked to do all this stuff like Cameron Payne was asked to do over the weekend.
I definitely agree. I mean, Eddie knows ball, and he's also been he's been in that spot, a spot that you and I and many of us have not been in before when you're really
99.9% of us have never been in this spot.
Exactly. Like, look, at one point in this, I admitted in this episode, I've never had a heat check before. All right. So it's just something where it's like, come on, we can analyze the game from afar, but Eddie has lived it. So I think he's got some great insight on, campaign in the preseason, overall Pacers point guard play, what they need to do. I think this was a fun episode and great to have Eddie on. It's been quite a long time, so always great to connect.
It's been a while, but Facci, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen Ben Sheppard on the court, and we got to find out today at practice, Ben Sheppard was a full participant. And, while I've always been kind of like lukewarm on Ben Sheppard, I like him a lot. I think he does a great job defensively. Sometimes I would rather see him, maybe not getting Jarris Walker's minutes in terms of like developmental, but he's like, just one of these players that you can't keep off the floor because he does things right. But I feel like he's going to stabilize this rotation so much more being healthy. I understand Taylor Peter had a very nice game, and there's probably some comps you can make to a Taylor Peter and a Ben Sheppard with how they play. But Ben is just a little bit more proven, and I'm excited to see what he looks like.
I mean, look, we're always going to remember when Ben Sheppard had the highest plus minus on the team in the playoffs. Like, yeah, that's something that might be the peak of Ben Sheppard, but I really hope not. I think
that third quarter three, though, to put the Pacers up 30 against the Thunder was pretty sick with that.
That really was. I think that, like, come on, he could only go up from here. I feel like his slump last year was just too low to the point where it's all up from here. And like we said, a couple episodes ago, like, this is probably the most we have craved Ben Sheppard in a while, just because you're seeing guys go down. You have other questions. You want to know who's going to step up. And I just feel like, hey, he's getting healthy at the right team or at the right time. Regular season has not started yet. So I'm excited to see him out there, excited to see him practicing. And obviously, I don't need to see a lot of minutes out of him in Friday's preseason game should he play, but you just want to see something. Give me one three ball, and I am so back on that it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I will just say this. He is dealing with a calf strain. That's what he told the media today. Tony East asked him what he was dealing with, and he said that he actually suffered that calf strain in the mini camp in Orlando at Pascal's place. So that's how long he's been dealing with that injury, and Rick Carlisle did not tell the media what was going on injury-wise. And I think with it being preseason, you don't have to actually give specifics on injuries. You don't have to have an actual injury report until the regular season starts. So that is part of the reason why he kept it in-house, I believe. But also, when you're talking about calf strains and the Pacers, like, we've seen 3 guys go down last year with Achilles tears. So, like, Shepp even said it, like, he's like, yeah, just trying to make sure it doesn't lead into something more. So I think they're going to be more cautious moving forward anytime you hear the word calf strain. And that is also what Monty Morris was dealing with before after he was signed. He told them, I'm dealing with a calf strain. And they said, okay, we're done. Like, they just understand like the risk that comes with it. And we see it more and more. Calf strains lead to Achilles tears.
I don't want to sound like an old man on my porch, but it feels like back in my day, a calf strain. Now it's a totally different thing now. Totally different. A calf strain used to be like, oh, come on, put some ice on it, get back out there. Now it's like, yeah, you're going to want to sit down for a while because the alternative is an Achilles tear and about a year of rehab. So after what we went through with Tyrese Halliburton and how that started as a calf strain and ended in, hey, we're probably not going to see this guy for about 16 months. I think it's totally like, let's play this extra safe. This is Ben Sheppard here, not Tyrese in a, do or die type of situation. So I do think you have the luxury to bring him along slowly because you got to remember when Tyrese got hurt and I don't know whether it was game 4, ended up playing like game 5. I remember they said if this was like a regular season type of situation, he probably would have been out for over a week, if not more. So play it safe. I think that's the right move. It's preseason for crying out loud. There's no reason to see him out there, just like there was no reason to see Victor Wembanyama out there in like the fourth quarter of a preseason game. Some things can just wait. Let's get Ben Sheppard healthy.
You said, you don't want to sound like an old man, but we do have an old man that just turned 47 a couple days ago, and you, out of all people, forgot his birthday. So here is a message from yesterday's podcast David Cole has for you, Facci. I'm going to let you respond to this. Let's roll the tape from yesterday's episode. Here's what David had to say.
I also have to shout out happy belated birthday to Jermaine O'Neal. Michael J. Facci had 2 chances to give his birthday shout out to his favorite player in NBA history. I don't know.
He's the president of the fan club and didn't even say happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday, J.O., though. Here in the Cole household, we do actually really mean it when we say that we're fans of Jermaine O'Neal. We will not forget your birthday. I don't know, Facci, maybe fake fan? I don't know.
Ooh, shots are fired. I'll let Facci defend that on tomorrow's episode.
David, hit me where it hurts. It's tough. I thought about it after we recorded. We were recorded in the morning. I still got my coffee going. I'm trying to get the juices flowing. And I missed Jermaine's birthday. I thought about it later, but it was too late. It wasn't on air. I'm sorry, Jermaine. You'll always be my hero. I know some other people, like Chris Denari was on here. Hero's dad. Jermaine O'Neal was my hero growing up. And Jermaine, I'm sorry. So happy belated birthday just to get it on the show. He's always going to be number 7 in me. You can give that number to other people. It ain't theirs. That is Jermaine O'Neal's number. I stand by that.
Well, let me just ask you this. I mean, David said, I don't know if you're a real fan of Jermaine if you forget his birthday, and you had 2 opportunities to say it on here. So how do you go 2 episodes without bringing it up?
I don't know.
Were you just so laser focused you forgot?
I guess I'm just getting old, and I got stuff going on in my life that it slipped my mind, and hey, no excuses. But Jermaine O'Neal, you guys should see my closet if you're wondering if I'm a Jermaine O'Neal fan. I don't want to see anything in your closet of all different teams and sizes. Some fit, some don't. Some were just, I think I need that. Let me just get that jersey, even though I'll never wear it. That is my guy, and I still want to do this announcement. If anyone ever comes across a Jermaine O'Neal Phoenix Suns jersey, a Celtics jersey, or a Warriors jersey, I need those. I need them. I don't even know if they really even produced them or made them. I can't find them on eBay or any shops or anything of the sort, but I have been in search. Gotta have them.
I wonder if Jermaine O'Neal even has one.
He's gotta, but I'm convinced that and no offense to Jermaine, but I just feel like when it came to Phoenix Suns time, I feel like they weren't actively just really producing these in mass quantity. Maybe they were in the local gift shop, but I don't know if you were able to really snag them on Nike.com or NBA.com or anything of the sort. But I feel like Jermaine's probably got them. I need them though. That's something that is important to me, and hopefully one day I get them.
Absolutely, Facci. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the great Eddie Gill. Joining us now on Setting the Pace, it is the 1999 Big Sky Tournament MVP, former Indiana Pacer, and the current radio color analyst for your Pacers. It is Eddie Gill. Eddie, what is up, man? How you doing?
Man, it's a pleasure joining you guys. I appreciate you having me. Obviously, everybody getting geared up for the season. It's an exciting time, but all is well. How about you guys?
Doing good. Excited for Pacer basketball and real stuff to talk about. We made it through the offseason. Sometimes we're coming off of such a high of the finals and then, the low how it ended. It's good to have more positive stuff to talk about. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. It was a short offseason, but you'll take that short offseason every time if you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the biggest storylines around this team right now is the point guard position. And since this is a familiar spot that you've been in through your career, Campaign gets brought in Thursday, has one practice, and they're like, hey, go out there and start the next day for this team. And then 2 days later, be the backup point guard, get used to the system, figure things out. So from your perspective, I'm just kind of curious, have you been in a spot like this where Campaign is at, and how do you adjust to such a, hey, throw right into the fire?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that question. I can definitely relate to that situation, although it was a regular season game. The irony of it, I was playing for Kevin Pritchard at the time with the Kansas City Knights. I get called up by the Memphis Grizzlies. We practiced for 2 days. I'm with the second group for those 2 days. And pregame, we're playing LA Clippers. Jeff McGinnis is their starting point guard. And I bend over to tie my laces, like to tighten them up a little bit more as he's going over starting lineups. And he's like, all right, Gill, you're going to start him McGinnis. And that was like the first time I was aware that I was going to start that game. And I proceeded to play all 48 minutes that night. So it was pretty cool. But when you go into those types of situations, you just rely on your instincts, rely on the IQ of the game and things that got you to that point. In Cameron Payne's case, he's been a veteran in this league now, and he's been a contributor for many teams. So as he gets more acclimated, he'll get more confident, get more comfortable with the system. If they continue to go that route in terms of him being the backup, while TJ McConnell is kind of recovering, we're not sure what his status is, but he's a guy who's been able to contribute. And again, just being able to get more confident with the system, I'm sure he'll be a good addition.
We talk about that system. It's something that does take some time to get used to. I mean, he seemed a little bit winded early on. The Pacers' pace of play is something that might not suit everybody. Obviously, first game, a little bit tough. Second game, got into a rhythm in the second half, ends up scoring, 10 points, hit a few baskets. But what do you want to see a little bit more of out of Campaign as we wrap up preseason?
Yeah, disruptive defensively, right? He's going to be a guy that, much like TJ McConnell, you want to be at that position, especially a smaller guard. Your advantage is your speed, your quickness, your ability to disrupt defensively. If you go out there and apply yourself at that level, and then offensively, just go out there and play that pace of play that the Pacers have been known for and have had a lot of success at. So he'll be able to get that done, push the ball up the floor, knock down open shots, and just, again, I think the biggest thing is to feed off of defensive energy, and then good things happen for you offensively.
And you brought up TJ McConnell. I want to know a little bit more about how you view him as a player. Obviously, we know as Pacer fans and things like that just what he means to this team, but you're already down Tyrese at the point guard spot. Then you lose your backup point guard, TJ McConnell, to that hamstring injury, which can be kind of tricky. You don't really know how long that's going to be. I mean, how big of a loss is this, and how does it impact the rest of the team?
Listen, he's the engine to make that second group go. And there's been some games where he's played deep into the fourth quarters, and he's been part of the closing lineup as well. But certainly throughout his tenure here with the Pacers and really throughout his career, he's been a guy to make that second group go. And really the second group for many years now, they've had an advantage almost on a nightly basis, outscoring the opponent with that bench unit, and he's been the guy to drive the bus there. So he's certainly a guy that's going to be missed. The energy that he brings to the game is infectious. If you're not out there working hard and playing hard, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb while he's on the floor, because he's absolutely getting after it on every single possession. Again, another guy who's undersized and unassuming if you see him walking down the street, but on the floor, he's an absolute dog. And you love to see that type of energy, that fiery spirit that he has. And it'll be missed. And not one guy will be able to pick up for what he does. A lot of things that he does doesn't necessarily get into a stat sheet. It's going to be a collective effort for them to be able to hold down the fort while he's out, depending on how long he is out.
It felt like a year ago, if you included Andrew Nembhard as a point guard, it felt like the Pacers' point guard depth was amongst the best in the league, I would say, to put it lightly. I don't want to be too much of a homer here, but love what the Pacers had. Now, a year later, even a couple months later, it's a far different situation. What sort of adjustments do you feel that Andrew Nembhard's now going to have to make, already stepping into a bigger role, but perhaps even from a playing time adjustment, how this could be, we could see a lot more minutes coming his way, or perhaps how Rick could maybe balance this out for him?
Yeah, it's going to be a huge adjustment for Andrew Nembhard, because he's, oftentimes, or most of the time, he's playing off the ball. I thought they were pretty selective and strategic when they put him on the ball more, let Tyrese Halliburton play off the ball when he had guys basically trying to dog him the entire game, try to wear him out. So they took Halliburton off the ball, give the ball to Nembhard. But now he's going to be doing it throughout the season. And then he was also tasked with guarding the best perimeter player on the opposing team. So I think Benedict Mathurin is going to get some of that assignment this year. You won't necessarily have Nembhard doing that on a nightly basis, especially with the offensive expectation and responsibility that he'll have. But I think he's going to answer the call. I'm a huge fan of his. I've always been. Obviously, I'm a little biased to the point guard position, but I love the way he defends. I think he earned his respect and his keep, 3 years ago when he was able to lock down defensively, and then his offensive game, we've seen that grow. And then, another guy who I think that, may get an opportunity, I know he's dealing with a little bit of an injury as well, is Quentin Jackson. So he had bright moments last season as well. So he may get an opportunity. We'll see what Rick Carlisle elects to do in that backup spot. But early on in the season, I think you'll see that coaching staff experiment with a few different lineups and a few different rotations.
I will say a lot of the fan base has been, clamoring for Quentin Jackson to maybe be converted into a regular roster spot. But I think we've tried to do the best we can to explain why he's still on the two-way because of how the roster works and how you've already got him on the team, so you don't want to take up another roster spot. But when you look at his game versus Cameron Payne after a couple of games, yeah, it's going to look like Quentin Jackson knows what he's doing better. He's been here for 2 years where Cameron Payne's been here for 3 days. So I think that context really matters. But what do you like about Quentin's game so much, and how have you seen him grow as, more of a table setter instead of just a scorer?
Yeah, fearless. He's absolutely fearless. I love his demeanor out there on the floor, his confidence, especially when you're thinking about a guy who he may be getting spot minutes. He doesn't know when he's going to get on the floor. He sits for 6, 7, 8 games, and then all of a sudden he has an opportunity to go play 20 minutes. That's a tough spot to be in, but he's embraced it and he's been able to thrive in some of those conditions. So I just like the effort that he brings to the game. His athleticism is elite. We see that anytime he gets out on the break and in transition. He's picking up full court. He's scrappy. He's physical. So I just like that mindset that he has each time he gets on the floor.
Yeah, I think he's, in terms of, you've been covering with the Pacers for, almost a decade now. And it feels like, as it relates to two-way players, I feel like Quentin Jackson is one of the best two-way players that Indiana's had. How much of a blessing is it to have him in the system for the last, a couple seasons now, but on a two-way contract? Because I really do feel that he is a standard NBA contract type of player in this league.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of time before that happens for him, whether it's with the Pacers or otherwise. He's done enough here in the last couple seasons to show that he's a bona fide, NBA guard, and he can be productive when given the opportunity. So it's certainly a great luxury for the Pacers to have him in that spot. Like I said, I'm rooting for him to get a genuine opportunity, just as an individual, whether it's here or somewhere else. But I think he's a guy who can help. And depending on how like I said, I think there will be some experimenting going on with that backup spot, and really just throughout the lineup. Rick Carlisle has done that really throughout his career. When you think about the back end of the rotation, seeing who guys, or who can really contribute, who fits well, what those rotations look like. But Quentin Jackson is a good one. And the Pacers as a whole have done this. Really, you look at that roster, Obi Toppin was in New York, not playing a whole lot. Nesmith was buried on the bench with the Celtics. Andrew Nembhard's a second-round pick. They've been able to find guys who aren't necessarily touted as these quote-unquote stars or big-name players, but they've come into their own here with the Pacers. They've been big-time contributors.
If Quentin Jackson's not able to go for the home opener against OKC, there's a good chance that RayJ Dennis does suit up and be that third-string point guard potentially if there's some foul trouble. I know he's probably on the bottom of the tier list there in terms of what point guard you want to play, but what do you like about RayJ's game? What have you seen from him developmental-wise since he's been here?
Yeah, he looks a lot more comfortable, and that just comes with time and experience, right? I liked him coming out of Baylor. Again, a tough-minded guard, a guy who's does a nice job of facilitating. I think overall, and we saw this, I believe it was the first preseason game against the Timberwolves. When he come in the fourth quarter, he had a big second half to help the Pacers get that win. And again, it's all about confidence and opportunity, and he was able to take advantage of it. And he's a guy, again, looking for more extended run, not the opportunity to go out there and play and not look over your shoulder is invaluable, right? So when he gets that, I think he's a guy who can contribute as well.
Is there anyone else on this team that you feel like maybe now we could just be kind of sleeping on that maybe could, play a bigger role? It seems to happen each and every year. There's someone that steps up. For instance, we mentioned Quinn Jackson. I don't think anybody had an idea that he would play a big role, but next thing you know, we found him in the starting lineup, at times scoring 20 points. Is there anyone maybe on this roster that maybe hasn't shown a lot in preseason now, but hey, down the line this regular season, he could be called upon?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with for one individual. I would say Jarris Walker. Right, he's had some bright spots in the preseason. He played I don't know 70 something games last season. Although some of them were spot minutes, it's not really extended run. I'm looking to see if he gets extended run, extended opportunity, what he's able to do with those minutes. I thought he was good the other night against San Antonio. And then who was it? OKC. I think in the second half, I thought he was really good at home. I thought he played well there as well. But with some extended minutes, if he's in the rotation, I'm looking to see him take the next step in his journey, for this Pacers team.
You talk about preseason. I'm just curious, as starters like Pascal and Aaron and Ben and Andrew, they've had pretty positive minutes together on the floor in the 2 games they played together. How serious, though, do a lot of starters take preseason when they go out there? I mean, are they going like 80%, 90%, like just trying to get the right feel for how they're going about, like how much they're pushing themselves?
Yeah, I think they're taking it serious. I think if you don't and you go out there and coast it, now you're at risk of injury. You're at risk of just bad habits. You put yourself at risk at all sorts of things. When you step on the floor, if you're not going hard, you're putting yourself at risk at several things. And to your point, I thought that first game against the Timberwolves, that first unit was very good to start the game. And then I thought they were very good in that third quarter, maybe the 6-minute stretch against San Antonio. I thought they were very good there. So I thought those were bright spots. And I think that's something that staff will probably look to further illustrate, hey, this is how we want to play, especially when we open up on the 23rd.
Pascal Siakam is someone who I feel like has just had a great preseason. It's just like you didn't need to see something specific out of him, but what you saw was like, this is the guy that is going to be, he's had just about every role in the NBA, but like, you're in good hands. Like, how valuable is it to have an all NBA, an all-star player like Pascal Siakam to be able to pick up, some of what's lost when you lose a player like a Tyrese Haliburton?
I mean, it's huge. Even all throughout the last season, I was singing his praises as he is the guy. He's the cornerstone of what they do when you talk about stability, consistency, a guy who's available. He's defending at a high level at his position. Also, he's one of the few bigs who's picking up full court, picking up guys that they decide to bring the ball up the floor. And he's also a guy he doesn't have to have 30 shots to be effective. Right. Half the time I'm saying I want him to shoot the ball more and I want him to get more touches because he's finishing games 12 for 16, 13 for 17, and he's having those types of nights on a regular basis. But yeah, to have a guy like that who's been there, done it, he's won a championship last season, helped lead this team to the finals again, was an all-star. So it's great to have him in that position, especially when they play this fast-paced type of play. I'm always like, hey, if offense is slowing down or you're having a hard time finding quality shots, find 43. He's gonna make something good happen with his back to the basket. If they play one-on-one, he's probably gonna score or draw a foul. They double team, he's gonna make the right pass.
I don't think I've seen a Pacer player in a while have the great footwork that he has. I haven't seen somebody have that good of footwork in a while. I mean, just the way that he was able to create space against Wemby to get that shot off on Monday night was just incredible. Like, this is a 7'7" dude out here, massive wingspan, and Pascal just can do things that nobody else really can do to create space. But another thing he does so well is shoot the 3 ball. I mean, the way that he has evolved as a 3-point shooter since being traded here from Toronto, like if he shoots like he did last year plus what he's done in preseason, this isn't a hot take, but I really could see him maybe being in a 3-point contest at All-Star Weekend because he's just been shooting the ball at such a high clip.
He has. I mean, and when he's able to do that, and like I said, I just referenced what he does with his back to the basket, and he's a matchup problem too. If you put a bigger guy, a slower guy out there on him, trying to keep him out of the paint when he's trying to drive the basketball, he's going to be able to get there. Or if he's trying to contest a shot or slow him down on the box, he can get some things done there. So yeah, his footwork is great. His patience is phenomenal. And then he's a guy when he gets to the free throw line, he's solid there as well. So I love everything about Pascal's game.
Speaking of getting to the free throw line, Benedict Mathurin is someone who's been able to do it at ease. Last time we saw Mathurin out there, it was something special. He couldn't miss. Even when he pulled up before halftime, I was even like, you sure you want to shoot that? And then he hit it, and I was like, that's a heat check. What do I know? I've never had one of those. But I think for Mathurin, I mean, how big of a year is this for him? Like, going into where he's, extension eligible, stepping into a bigger role. Like, this is a guy who has all the confidence in the world for himself. Like, what are you most excited about Mathurin this year?
Yeah, you reference his confidence. He steps on the floor. There's not one moment where he doesn't think he's the best player on the court. It doesn't matter who's out there. And that's good. That's what you want in a guy, especially in that position. You look to see him put the ball in the basket. And yeah, just playing with the same confidence that he's been playing with. And now just taking the next step in terms of when there's 2 or 3 on the ball, where does he move it? Where does he find a teammate? You reference him getting to the free throw line. He's done that since day one. He's a guy who's attacked the paint. The Pacers have not been great as a team in terms of getting to the foul line. But with him on the floor, getting extended minutes, extended opportunity, look to see those numbers ramp up because he's going to get there. He finds the paint. He's not shying away from contact. Matter of fact, he's looking for contact. And he's able to finish through contact. So, and if he's making the 3-point shots, at a consistent level, at a respectable level, he's going to be tough to deal with throughout the season.
Last question for me, Eddie. I want to know a little bit more about Ben Sheppard coming back from injury today, full go in practice. What does he mean for that second unit and just this team in general?
Yeah, another invaluable player, does a lot of stuff that doesn't get in the stat sheet. His rookie season, when he really started getting minutes in the latter part of the season, I think he really earned the trust of Rick Carlisle and the staff just by way of him defending at the level he does. He's always in the right spot offensively. He's not going to overdo it. He spaced the floor. He's a knockdown shooter from the 3-point line. But he's technically sound, right? So you need guys like that you can rely on, that you can trust to do the right thing when he's out on the floor. And he took another step last season. I always thought that because he had an injury last year or during the season, I can't remember what part of the year it was, but I thought for sure once he got healthy again, he would be right back into the rotation just based on the trust that he's been able to earn with his play. So he's another guy that's incredibly important to that bench unit, specifically on the defensive end. That's where you saw this team take a major turn last season when Andrew Nembhard came back from injury. Defensively, he took it to another level. Ben Sheppard on that second unit defensively. And once they took that end of the floor seriously and they were decided that they were going to try to stop people and they moved to the middle, and top half of the league and defensively, that's where they really started to gain their stride.
Love it. Eddie, final question for you before we let you get out of here. Once again, familiar territory, counting out the Pacers. That's what everybody always does. Always sleeping on us. Vegas has a projected win total at 38.5. Usually Vegas knows something, but I don't think they know these Indiana Pacers. I think we're once again gonna, outperform these projections. But what's your thoughts? Is this Pacers team good enough to go at least 500 on the year, beat the expectations?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I would definitely say that. I wondered what Vegas was saying this time last year about them getting to the finals. Right. So, and we probably all were in that camp if we're being honest, right? But I think they're a competitive team. I think they're a playoff team. I think, the Knicks, the Cavs, I think they're going to probably be right there, be battling at the top. But other than that, I feel like the East is going to be competitive and the Pacers have an opportunity to once again claim a playoff spot and cause some major problems in the playoffs.
All right, everybody, that is Eddie Gill. He is the best dressed in terms of the broadcasters here for the Pacers, and you'll see him a lot on your television screens for pregame with Jeremiah Johnson, postgame as well, I believe, and you'll hear him on the radio call with Mark Boyle. Anything else I can plug for you?
No, that's it. Let's go get some wins.
All right. Appreciate it. Eddie, thank you so much, and we'll have to do it again soon.
Appreciate you guys.
Setting the pace, going to the top. Setting the pace, going to the top. This is your #1 podcast. Sleeping every team, we gon' need a mop. Smooth.